My name's Cody. I was diagnosed with Crohn's in early 2011. Right before I got diagnosed, I literally turned green. My entire body was just green. I was at work. I was taking a phone call, and something just all of a sudden hit me, and it switched on, and I just turned green. At that time, I started going into doctors and seeing, so I had an upper GI. Discovered that I had like 6 ulcers within my stomach and then into my, down into my stomach area, down into like the small intestine. And so after that, I went and had a colonoscopy done. There was no signs of anything in there. So what they did is we did the pill cam afterwards, and with that is when they discovered I actually had symptoms actually in the small intestine. With having Crohn's disease, it definitely interrupts your normal eating habits. You have to go on a very strict diet. Not every Crohn's disease case is actually the same with their diet, so one thing could work for me that wouldn't work with someone else on that. It became a challenge. It was hard because I was at 185 and dropped to 120, and it was the hardest thing I've ever had to experience in my life. I experienced having really like pain. I almost felt like someone was just in my intestines with a knife, jabbing me everywhere pretty much. And then obviously the blood in the stool with Crohn's, that definitely took it out of me sometimes. I could tell how I was going to feel by my stool. If I was going to start feeling sick, because if my stool was super black, then I would have lost more blood that day. And so it just took it out of me, and I was always tired. Stopped working out when all this started happening too. So before I started the BX, I was on a pretty strict diet. I wasn't able to have any citrus fruits or vegetables. And if I did, I could tell. Even some onions, if they were cooked, they didn't bother me. If they were raw, then that's when I had an issue with them. Red onions, I always had an issue with. So when I started the BX, it was July 3rd. I remember it because I started it, and the next day was 4th of July, and I couldn't eat hot dogs at my family barbecue. I was kind of upset, but it was okay. So after I started the BX, that weekend I noticed that I was starting to get really sick, and I felt like it was the flu. It was really low energy, just kind of took it out of me. Definitely could tell that something was going on within my body though. I could feel like a battle war pretty much going on within my intestines. Like it was super warm around my stomach all the time, and just a lot of action I feel like going on. I started throwing up occasionally, and I hadn't done that since I was like actually diagnosed with Crohn's. And then with my stool, it started to go from the super soft, like coffee ground, occasionally looking stuff, to actually looking like a stool should, which was kind of impressive. That was within 7 days. Towards the 4th week, at the beginning of the 4th week, or no, the end of the 4th week, going into the 5th week, I went down to San Diego, and it was for a friend's wedding. So, sorry, this kind of hits base with me occasionally. I was able to eat like salsas that I couldn't eat normally. Yeah, I was going out on the limb, but I felt good enough, and I felt like my normal self again, that I actually could. I actually could go back to that point and experience new flavors again, and it was awesome. I feel like I don't have it, to be honest. The way that my stomach and my intestines feel, like I don't feel like I have it. I feel like my body's clean and just completely detoxed. So I'm a believer. It's a world of difference. I would, anyone with Crohn's, I would say take the BX before you try anything else. More upbeat and back to being my positive self, just living life again, playing basketball with 19-year-old kids. I'm 26, and I know that's not much, but still. And when they can outrun you and you still can keep up with them, it feels pretty good.